Yeah, welcoming guys back to our video. The purpose today is caning on rejected metal frames. What is happening here is one of our clients came to the shop and insisted they wanted the frames that they had to be recaned. Yeah, just from the video. These Rattan chairs were made in 1985. So the owner of these chairs, she was insisting that the mom passed on some years back. So this kind of chairs were kind of a memento to her. So she wanted them revamped to the way they were. So we did not even paint the frames. Neither did we do any alterations. The only thing we did was to remove the old cane and just start weaving. Nothing else. Even the rubbers which were put on these chairs were not removed. Everything was left as it is. Now, there are two ways of revamping furniture. One of the ways is to strip the old and then you renew. But for some people, they would prefer, if you really have to renew, then most of the old things, they have to be attached back, because it serves as some kind of a memory thing. And that's exactly what this client wanted. That approached us from Instagram, and we were happy to have this done. So first and foremost, the most important thing, before weaving, you have to strip all the cane, inclusive the fibers which were there, because there were some fibers which were stuck. This happens to be a very, very old chair. So thereafter, the frames are they're supposed to be repainted, but we did not do this because the owner still wanted it to have its original color. So nothing completely was done. Thereafter, you can see we've already finished weaving the seat. After weaving the seat, then we have to weave now the backrest. Now, these kind of chairs, they're not large. They are very, very good for restaurants and some open spaces. Like, for example, if you're in the event business, these kind of chairs are very, very stackable. Yeah, very, very stackable. So what is being done here is called rattan binding, whereby we use the flat cane to to bind on the frame, just like what is being done now. That is the flat cane. Now you bind the 4mm on the flat cane, so that when you start weaving, it becomes much easier. So this is what happens. Then when you start weaving, you have to make sure the stands are as stable as possible, such that there'll be no excess bending or losing of shape. The cane that we use here, we are using 3 types of cane here. We are using the round cane, which is 3mm. It's also called round rattan core. And then we are also using the split cane, which is 5/6. Thereafter, we also use 2mm or 2.5. 2mm is usually used for, let's say, if you want to do some matting on the tables. You'll also be able to find that in our videos. Yeah, so this is what is being done, as you can see. Now we are weaving the backrest, just as the way it's just being done. So the backrest there, as you can see, it's getting moving. So it takes around roughly 15 hours to finish one chair. No, sorry, not 15 hours. let's say something like yeah, around 10 hours to finish a single chair like this. Now, what is being used there is called Rattan splint cane, 5/6. This is what he's doing. It's very, very important. Before you start binding on the cane, you have to use a long nose pliers to make sure the stands are as soft as possible, easily bendable to avoid any breakages. So now that is the flat cane. Okay, the Indonesians also call it the kobu peel. So you must have a pair of cicatrias, and then you must have the long nose pliers for this process to be done. As you can see what he's doing here. So once we've already binded the backrest, next we do the bottom. Yeah, as you can see, binding is being done on the seatrest of this dining chair. Now you can imagine how long this takes, how long these furnitures last. This chair was made in 1985. So the mother to the lady bought these chairs in 1985. So we are trying to restore it to the way it was now. So very, very important. You can see we've used the long nose. And then if you notice there are big spaces down, you still have to weave the 3mm such that when you start trying to put the belt, there is no large space. Yeah, so you can see you have to know how you're going to weave that hole so that it's not too big when you start doing that design of the belt. Now, this is where the design of the belt comes in. So you have to use 3 pieces of rattan cane. Yeah, so the back goes forward, the middle like that, just like what he's trying to do. The purpose of this is to completely seal those holes such that they are not able, such that they have a very nice pattern, and then you're able to seal the holes, just like he's doing here. This usually is the last step, one of the last stages for the seat. So you can see the hole is being sealed by this kind of a belt. Now that is the sitting area. We are almost close to completion of it. So we seal the holes properly. Thereafter, the next stage will be now to bind the metal. The idea of binding the metal is to completely cover, such that the paint does not chip off. That is the whole idea of binding metal. Yeah, so this is now what is called binding. You have to ensure the whole metal is completely covered. The purpose of the binding is to protect the frame from rust or from dust as well. So now this is what is called rattan binding. You bind, and then you also have to make sure when you're fixing the knots, it's completely tight. There should be no bumps. Just like what is doing here. That is now what is called rattan binding. As you can see now, we're almost getting close to the end of this chair. So now when all that is binded, at the end you have to do some kind of a knot, and you have to make it as tight as possible such that it's not able to come out. just like what it's trying to do. Yeah, this is called knotting. This is how you make sure when you're tying the knot, it is completely as tight as possible, such that it's not able to warp out again. Yeah, so you can check closely how he's tying that knot. That is how now you tie that knot. Very, very important. Yeah, you tie that knot. Thereafter, you pull from the end. Then you get the knife. You cut out that excess rattan. Now this is how the chair looked like. This chair is now ready for varnishing. This is how beautiful that chair looked like. So thank you so much, guys, for watching our video. We truly appreciate the correspondence. Kindly ask you guys, like and share, and always